I would not be where I am today had it not been for this one phone call that someone made to me. So I call my mom and she's like, sounds like a scam, sounds too good to be true. So I didn't join for a week, and then a week later I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna join. Literally my life changed completely because of the one phone call.
Before we get into strategies, before we get into some of what you've done to create a lot of success, I would love for you to take us back. I know you said you were shy, and I'm assuming maybe an introvert as well?
Totally, yeah.
Okay. 100%. So started out 6 years of struggle, 6 years of being shy, and maybe even having the excuse in your head, I can't be successful because I'm shy, because I'm an introvert, right? How many of us can relate to this maybe? So Michelle, would love for you to start off with your story, because I don't think a lot of my audience knows you, and I'm excited for them to hear a little bit about you.
So thanks for having me on, John.
Sure.
I found John like a little bit over a year ago, and I love everything that you have taught me. You have taught me and had such a huge impact on my business. So I admire what you and Nadya do in such a big way. But I got involved in network marketing. I was 23 years old. I had just graduated college, landed my dream job as a pharmaceutical sales rep, thought I would do that for the rest of my life, and realized that I was not, I was just an entrepreneur that was stuck in like a corporate job, right? So I'm doing this job and ended up at a network marketing event, and everyone in the room, ladies claiming to make six figures, another one's a millionaire, another one's driving a free car. I'm like, dude, like I love this. So I call my mom and she's like, sounds like a scam, sounds too good to be true. So I didn't join for a week, and then a week later I'm like, you know what, I'm going to join. I signed up. So my mom was disheartened.
Now let me ask you a question. Did the person follow up with you, or were you just like a week later, I'm just going to go ahead and join?
Person followed up.
Okay, good. So they did follow up. So if they didn't follow up, you might not have gotten started?
No.
Wow. No. Okay.
Like literally there's key critical components that like interactions I had with people in my business that I would not be where I am today had it not been for this one phone call that someone made to me. And wow. I'll share that in a quick second. It literally, my life changed completely because of one phone call. So anyway, so I signed up 2002. Okay. We didn't text then. There was no Facebook. It was a whole different time. And so
right.
Their only advice, you're going to walk up to strangers in parking lots. I'm like, oh, that's actually horrifying. Like, are people doing this? Because I'm not doing that. And so I proceeded to tell no one I was involved for the next 6 years. I tell like maybe someone, but then I just did nothing with it. So for 6 years, I dreamed about it. I organized my office. I printed documents. I laminated them. I just had this dream in my heart, but I stayed in my safe corporate job for 6 years. But I knew I loved it, but I was just not going to do it. And then 2009, I was in commercial real estate, selling commercial real estate properties, all guys, fancy business suits, fancy cars, the whole scene. And it just wasn't my scene. And I was like, you know what? Luckily, the market crashed and I stopped making money. And it was at that moment that I realized this was a blessing, that it was like I had to make a decision. And it was almost like, just now's your time. So I said, you know what? I'm going to give it 6 months. I said to my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, give me like 6 months. He's like, I gave you a few years with that real estate thing. That didn't work out. I'm like, just give me 6 more months. So I said, I'm gonna crush this. So I went online. I found a lady that sold for the same company in my town. And the lady I happened to pick has earned over $3 million, driven luxury cars, the whole thing from the company. And so she was a kind of big player right in my town. And when I met her, she's 4'11", she has short, spiky hair, she barely wears makeup, she suffers from social anxiety disorder, and she fainted at her first party. And that's what I needed to meet someone like that. I didn't need to meet a John Melton, because John Melton's like, loud and extraordinary and amazing. That's not who I needed to meet. I needed to meet someone who was a little broken, right? And she was broken, and I was like, well, I feel broken too. I'm an introvert. But if you could do this, maybe I could do this. And so that was what I needed. I just come from very humble beginnings. I had a single mom. My dad left when I was 6, and I come from no money. And I always had that feeling inside of me, like I never had what other people had. And so I've always worked really hard in order to like prove myself and to have those things that I didn't have as a kid. We had nothing. And so, so meeting her, I was like, oh, you're kind of like my people. And so she taught me her system. And that first week I went to her meeting at her house where she showed me the whole thing. The next week I didn't go back because I didn't feel like I was worthy enough. I didn't feel like I was going to make this work. And honest to God, John, she called me a week later and said, hey, where are you? And keep in mind, this is not an upline of mine. She doesn't even get paid on me. She was just a nice lady that cared. So where are you? You didn't come back to our meeting. We'd love to have you. And had she not made that phone call, I never would have gone back. And I don't know what my life would look like today had she not made that phone call. But it was her belief in me in a time when I felt so broken that I went back to the meeting. I sat in the back. I was shy in the back. I'm like, okay, all right. And the next week she said, I want you to train everybody. And I was like, whoa, lady, this is not, I don't even know what I'm doing. But her belief in me is what fueled my fire. And 6 months later, I was top 1% of the company with a team of 50. And a few months later, I earned a car, another car, and have gone on to teach my team those simple systems. And, we started using text message. We started using Facebook. And that's what, everyone in my company's like, what are you doing? I'm like, works. I don't know. Just texting people. I'm too introverted to call anyone. But I was maybe one of the only people that earned the first level or the luxury car that my company gives away by never picking up a phone. That was my claim to fame. I never picked up the phone. I did it all by text message. And, people are like, well, no, it's a people business. I'm like, no, it works. So I just, that's how I built. And so, and I've taught it to my team, and now they do the same thing. And now we've branched off this year. We're doing more online. I'm watching what you and Tanya and so many other big players are doing. And I'm like, yeah, this stuff works. And so we're having tons of success with Facebook Live parties using the ATM model, just a group with people that we put in there and we invite them to a live event and like hosting a party. But we do it by sending them samples in the mail. So it's a spin on yours, but it's ultra effective.
Right.
And it's pretty awesome. It is crazy. You can actually take your model and you can carry it over into whatever business you're in. And it absolutely works. So that has been so amazing. And I've learned so much from you in terms of you just comment on something and that pops back up in everyone's feed again, right?
Sometimes we think we have to be as sharp as the person on stage. We think we have to be as sharp as the person in front of the room. And that's just not true. In fact, I remember my mentor years ago told me, one of my mentors said, it's the stories at the end of the briefing, at the end of the meeting, that close more business. That's what closes the room, because they hear the presenter and they're like, I can't talk like that. I can't relate to that person. But then they see someone that's been doing it 3 months, Tommy Tow Truck, right? The guy that has never been in business before, and they're having success. And they go, dude, if he can do it, I can do it. So I love that you shared all of that. And I think it's so critical that people understand how important their story is and how they don't have to be the big wig and the top earner to attract people. They just have to be authentic and have a genuine interest in other people. And the fact that you had a person that didn't even have a vested interest in you, they didn't make money on you, reach out to you, not just welcome you into their meeting, but call and reach out to you because she saw something in you. I just think that's so amazing. So I appreciate you sharing all of that. So Michelle, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about some of your strategies on attraction marketing. And I know what's working for you. And I think some people probably see you and they go, I see why she does well. She's very sharp. She's been doing this a while. But like you said, you've got people launching their business using these strategies. So if you could kind of talk, from the perspective of what you've done, but also what you've taught and duplicated, I think that'd be amazing.
So I've got like my 5 branding tips for you guys here. So
Perfect.
Branding 101, but I did not know what I was doing when I was branding myself 9 years ago, but 9 years ago I started a YouTube channel. And I just literally wanted to make some videos and just put some stuff out there to help people. And so I made my YouTube channel on something I was passionate about, and that was home parties, what I'm doing at my home parties, right? So I started putting videos out there. And I called up my company. I said, I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. And they're like, just if you don't mention our company name, it keeps us out of legal trouble. And I was like, okay. So the only reason that I just said, I'll just make it Michelle Cunningham was so I didn't have to be careful if I was promoting this or that and mixing with their brand. So that is how I accidentally started doing attraction marketing, right? So I started making videos. I don't think it had a term. I didn't know anything about attraction marketing then. So I don't even know if it was called that or if that's a new term. But so I started making videos. Once a week, I'd release a YouTube video. That was my thing. And I would just train. And people started to follow and they started to share. And then I started a Facebook page. And I knew in following people like the John Meltons of the world, the Ray Higdons, I started to follow those people. And I saw, okay, there's some critical things that these guys have that if I want to show up as some sort of expert out there, that I should probably have. So I've got my list of 5 here for you guys. Number 1, I realized that on their banner on YouTube or on Facebook, it wasn't them in the car with the seatbelt over doing the selfie, right? It didn't look like that. It was actually a nice shot. Do you have to pay professional money to get it done? No, but Could you go and stand by a brick wall and pose and get a nice shot of yourself? Absolutely. So if you're one of those people that you're like, I don't take a lot of photos, I don't have a lot of pictures lying around, it may be on purpose about the headshot. Be on purpose about going out and getting a nice shot done, putting on a little extra eyeliner if you're a chick, just looking the part. And when I built that YouTube channel, I didn't have the authority. I was no John Melton, where you stand now. I was not. I was just middle level, just kind of climbing the ranks of my company. But I decided to own my awesome. And so I think it's such an important thing that if you want to show up online, you need to own your awesome. And it needs to be an awesomer level that you feel like you're currently at. So I owned my awesome up here. I was about here. I owned my awesome up here. I got headshots made. And then number two is so headshot is number one. Number two is get the pretty banner made. So, but it's owning your awesome at this higher level. Number three is a tagline. So you need to know who you want to attract to you. So John's taken the approach of wanting to attract network marketers to you, and Tanya Eliza does the same thing. But some of you may want to be a product expert. So you want to attract people to you because you are a keto expert, and then you have a product that you can sell to these keto people. And so number three is your tagline. Who do you want to attract to you, and what are you going to fix for them, right? So that is what I talk about all the time with the people that I help with their branding is make sure that you know who you want to attract. So for me, I wanted to attract network marketers. I did not know, and it's such a great story, but I did not know that by putting myself out there as a network marketing expert, that I would attract people that were failing in their network marketing business or that liked my approach and would want to join my team. And I very vividly remember getting a phone call, and it was a girl who found me on YouTube. And she said, hey, I've been following for years. I've sat out for a bunch of years from a company, and I like your style, and I'm thinking about joining you, but I'm not sure yet. But I'm going to crush it when I join your team. And, we've heard from people like that, and you're like, right, you're going to crush it. And I was like, okay, that's great. Just let me know if you decide you want to work with me. And, just very chill. I was like, it's fine. If you want to join my team, great. Again, and that's a John Melton, Ray Higdon thing, right? Don't ever act like too eager to have someone on your team. So whatever, it's fine.
Wiping the drool off your face.
She did. Yeah. So I was like, it's fine. And we laughed about it today because she's like, you were so dismissive of me that I was like, that's so annoying. Why does she not care? I'm like, because how many times have I heard from someone that you're going to be your rock star, right? I'm like, I'll see when it happens. Anyway, she joined my team, and in the first month added 22 new team members. And I was just at her house last week. She lives in Florida. And she's like, do you know I've added 700 people to your downline? And I'm like, was it that many? Right? But she found me because I had a YouTube channel, because I was doing this attraction marketing that I didn't know that I was doing. But the idea was that I just was showing up as kind of quirky, weird me, just doing stupid stuff in my office, showing pretty things in my office, just being me. And so owning your awesome.
Hold on. You mean you were being normal? You were being yourself. You were being relatable. People wouldn't reach out to you if you're unrelatable. If you're too uptight and you're faking it, people can see and smell that a mile away. So I love that you pointed that out, because would you agree, Michelle, a lot of the people you coach, the reason they don't do videos, the reason they don't put themselves out there, because they feel like they have to fake it or put on a front, and they don't realize that's the opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, people are craving authenticity online. There's so much fake. There's so much the Instagram posts and this and that, right? So while I do say your banner should look kind of Instagram-y and be really pretty, that's just going to attract people to you. But then they get to the video and they see, oh, this chick's just super normal. Yep. I go live without makeup on. I'm like, guys, sorry, I'm running late. I'm putting on my makeup. And they're like, oh, the chick's actually kind of a mess. All right. So, but I think that being just that relatable with people is so important, that you're just a real human. And in the middle of my live yesterday, my daughter cut her finger and came in, or putting a Band-Aid on her, but that's the stuff that people want to see. So It's so important. So that's number three. Number four, oh yeah, it was just simple, but YouTube once a week. I just decided I'd put out a video once a week. I made a commitment. It was making a commitment to a social media presence. And so for me, it was just once a week. And this was pre-days of Facebook Live. And then now I've got a commitment to doing a Facebook Live once a day. And I go live in different groups that I'm on and provide value. And, the master of this is this dude right here. I'm like, to compare you watch John, you're like, how are you even that many places at once? It doesn't even make sense. But you are an absolute machine, and you make it look so, it elevates everybody in the industry. And so I'm just thankful for that. I'm proud of you, because you do some crazy stuff, but you make people think in a bigger way just by the hustle that you have out there. So I admire that and I appreciate that.
When you do something consistently for a few weeks, it becomes something that if you don't do it, like I feel weird when I don't go to the gym, but there were years where I didn't go to the gym. Now I feel weird when I don't. So I made it a habit, right? So same thing with video. Those of us that are thinking I couldn't do a video every day, don't, because you're scaring yourself out of doing it. And I'd rather you do once a week and make it a quality video. So people that are like, well, I don't even have a YouTube channel. Guys, if you're watching, you don't need to start a YouTube channel. You could do, like Michelle said, she started 9 years ago. And somebody will say, I wish I would have started 9 years ago. Well, the best time would have been 9 years ago. The second best time is to start today. But you could start with Facebook Live. You could start with doing a weekly show. And those of you that have followed me a while, you know we teach this because my buddy Bob Heilig started doing that. Tanya Eliza started doing that. Marina Simone, she'll do lives every Tuesday at 5:30 because for her and for Tanya and for some, especially a lot of women, they'll say, I don't want to put my makeup on every day, or I don't want to get done up every day, or I don't want to have to come up with a topic every day. You figure out what works best for you. Just say, you know what, once a week, I'm gonna show up every Friday morning, or we do Money Monday, right? But I'm telling you all, if you can just make a decision that, you know what, I'm gonna show up once a week with value. I'm not gonna make it about making money. I'm not gonna make it about my business. I'm gonna make it about providing value. In turn, you will start to build a tribe of like-minded people. And you know, you talked about identifying like your avatar or your niche market, right? Like figuring out who are you talking to. Do you recommend they figure that out before they start doing videos? Because we've always told people just start providing value, mix it up, test it out. What's your opinion on how they identify? Because, you know, people will say all the time, well, do I want to do a brand on leadership principles and business, or do I want to go down the path of, you know, being a product expert and promoting my MLM products, right? So would love for you to touch on that because I'm sure you get that question often too.
I think to your point, you need to go. When I first started on YouTube, when I was going to be an organizing expert. And as I'm filming these organizing videos, I'm like, I don't really like organizing. Like, this looks pretty awesome, but this is fake, right? You know, like, I am not really an organized person. Right? Like, I'm a little messy. And it was a lot of work for me to film these videos. I'm like, but what wasn't difficult for me to film was to talk about network marketing. So I say to people, imagine you're at a dinner party, you're drinking your little wine, and you are talking to someone, and this topic comes up. What is that topic that you're like, oh, I want to talk about this, yeah, and you start talking? What is that topic for you? That we all have that topic. And so it could be for someone in my group, you might sell a product that's a keto product, but you love to garden. So you show up as the gardening expert. That's your thing that you show up as a gardening expert, not as your keto product expert. Be whatever it is that fills your cup. You're going to attract other gardeners to you. Those gardeners are going to be drawn to you. And now you can start these authentic conversations with them, and you can actually sell them whatever it is that you sell. You can start conversations about that keto product or whatever random things that you sell. So that all of that makes a difference.
So I definitely appreciate you. Is there any closing thoughts, any final wisdom nuggets that you want to share?
I think just, in closing, I mean, I say this to all the people on my team and anyone that I teach. I say reach out to people and learn from as many people as that you can, the big players in the network marketing world. And, you know, John, you've had such a huge impact in my business and in my life. And
appreciate that.
I want to thank you for the stuff that you put out there and the excellence that you show up as, which can be intimidating to a lot of people. When you look at John is like other level. So don't try to be John to start. Be here, you know, and then work your way up. But your excellence, I want to thank you for that. And just to remind everybody to find those people out there that speak to your soul and take your business to the next level, because that's really what it's all about. So,
amen.
That's what I would say.